Mick Mars. Looks like a monster. This was prime Judas Priest time. There is the Def Leppard centerfold, right? There's a cool picture of Van Halen. Dear Andy, I'm a Kiss fanatic. When I say that, I mean it. Robin Zander, I'm tired of being cute. There's Y&T right there. Dave Meniketti right there. So any guesses what this is? Oh, there it is. Remember Mike Reno? Look at him. He looks like a little kid. Nikki Sixx, I don't know what the deal was. He'd light his pants on fire. Bruce was so cool back then, man. Ann Wilson, little Nancy Wilson, a little Steve Perry. We were teenagers. We were scrawny. We had acne. Hey there, I'm Robert John Hadfield. Welcome to the Audio Mover channel. We're going to do something today that we haven't done in a long time. We've actually done a couple of videos on some of the things that are in here, but we're just going to flip through this thing. And if we come across anything in here that you think we should do a video on, put it down in the comments. Let us know, and let us know about your memories about this particular magazine if you owned it. And also stick around to the end, because at the end of the video, I'm going to open up another package. And what this is it's a record that I ordered, because I order records all the time to make videos about. We're going to make a video about this. I'm super pumped. It's a record that I only owned on CD. Hopefully you'll be able to see all this very clearly, because we're filming this in 4K resolution, so everything will be very clear, so you can see everything really clearly. And check this out. Rob Halford, back in 1983, there was something so cool about him. The motorcycle, Judas Priest, the Metal Conquerors, and then in this magazine also we have Rainbow. And, you know, this is the Lynn Turner time period when they're talking about them. Heart, Seductive Reason, Mötley Crüe, Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Interesting to see them in the middle of all this stuff. Iron Maiden, exclusive Steve Harris interview. And then we have up at the top, Def Leppard, a Def Leppard centerfold. Nice. And then Quiet Riot, Ted Nugent, Free, Y&T. This is somebody a lot of you ask about. We've had so many people request we do a video about Y&T, which is kind of, we actually have several Y&T albums here. And I love Dave Meniketti, one of the great singers. We don't really have a good reason why we haven't done a video, because there are articles in some of these. Anyway, we'll check into that. Oh, Slickest Dude in Rock poll results. We did a video about this too, so I remember that. Okay, Wendy O. Williams, Shooting Star, Rage, Ian Hunter, Ellen Foley, Dave Edmunds, Words to the Latest Hit Songs. Okay. Rumblefish. Oh my gosh. Do you remember these books? Remember The Outsiders? So okay, first of all, did you have to read that in school? And second of all, do you remember the movie? There's Rob Halford, little Sammy Hagar, little Nancy Wilson there. All right, so next page. So we have Judas Priest and Metal Conquerors. Man, this was prime Judas Priest time. They were so cool. KK, I mean, the Flying V, that red, man, I don't know. There was something so cool about these guys. You know that I was a Judas Priest fan. Screaming for Vengeance to this day, I think, was one of the great albums of the 1980s, great metal albums of all time. There's Halford. That looks like it might have been at the US Festival. It has that same look. Flick of the Switch. This didn't do much. And I'll be honest with you, I barely heard anything on it. They had hit such a peak with Back in Black, just a few years earlier. And then For Those About to Rock was pretty awesome. And then I don't know that it's not possible to live up to some of those things, some of those albums you put out. Okay, so here we go. Are you booked for the holidays? We read your mail. So it would be fun sometime to come back and do some of this reader mail, because here we go. I'm in junior high, and this semester we have to dissect frogs. I think it's grody. Do you think Ozzy would do mine for me? I know he could get me an A+. Ozzy rules. School sucks. Okay. Are you booked for the holidays? They're selling books there. There's a cool picture of Van Halen. Van Halen, they've paid their dues. And this is pre-1984. So you're talking about, if this was 1983, you're talking about, the latest thing that's out for them is going to be Diver Down. And so a lot of people were wondering if they had the goods at that point, which is kind of funny, because I actually love Diver Down. And we've talked about that before. Some of the stuff on there was so great. So there's Virgin Steel. This looks like this was a band, Mongol Horde. Since their debut LP was released a year ago, Virgin Steel, and this looks like a bunch of people talking about it. Okay. Free, Legends of Rock. Yeah, Paul Rogers and Simon Kirk, who both ended up in Bad Company. This, of course, was the band before that. And man, I still, to this day, All Right Now, just any classic rock station, I think, is still playing that tune. It is such a great tune. It's just a great tune. The production's great. The song's great. Play lead guitar like a star. The best of Van Halen. Looks like you can order some Van Halen posters. There's the one from Women and Children First. Check this out. You write down your credit card number to send it to PMC Manufacturing. How fun. Heavy Metal Happenings. So you've got Joe Elliott, Eddie Van Halen, Jimmy Page. These would also be sometime really cool to do. Def Leppard's vocalist Joe Elliott admits he was scared to death when his voice began to give him trouble in the midst of Lep's recent U.S. tour. Interesting. Vocal nodes. Letter of the month. Dear Andy, I'm a Kiss fanatic. When I say that, I mean it. I flew from my home in Omaha to New York just to sit outside the band's recording studio and meet the guys. It was worth it. They're great. Gene Simmons even took me to dinner. I was so excited I couldn't even eat. I have a problem, though, with the way they're acting to Space Ace Frehley. Oh, yeah, because this is around that time. They act like he doesn't even exist anymore, especially Paul Stanley. Now, I know Ace is no longer a member of the band. Interesting. Okay. Attention metal mongers. We're proud to announce the debut of Hit Parader's Heavy Metal Hotline. Headbangers Rock and Roll. Okay, interesting. Hit Parader's Heavy Metal Hotline, but you mail 6-month, 12 issue. Oh, it's another publication, it looks like. Okay. Rudy Sarzo, Quiet Riot. I saw them they were opening up for Scorpions on Metal Health. And, Rudy was kind of all over the place. And he was cool. I think we all kind of liked him. And then he'd do his weird bass thing where he'd play it upside down. Here's a Carvin advertisement. Harold Leese from Heart. The Slickest Dude in Rock. This one, we did a video about this. If you've never seen it, you should watch it. It's kind of fun. And Mike Reno. Man, remember Mike Reno? Look at him. He looks like a little kid. So funny. David Lee Roth, of course, he was a monster back then. Robin Zander. I'm tired of being cute. We need to do some Cheap Trick videos on this channel. He's awesome. I mean, Cheap Trick was just awesome. What a great band. There's little Sammy Hagar. And yeah, I think we did a video about this on this article already. Bruce was so cool back then, man. Steve Harris was great. Look at Steve. Look at the look on his face. That's great. Celebrity Rate a Record. Wendy O. Williams. And I think what they did with these things is they would have this person, whoever the celebrity was, go in and listen to some of this stuff and rate it. Fastway's Easy Livin'. That was such a cool tune. Der Kommissar from Falco. Do you remember that? Falco? That song, and he had another hit, Rock Me Amadeus. I don't know. He had some cool stuff. Give Me All Your Love and ZZ Top. Man, do you remember that one? Wow. Red Rider was kind of an unsung band we didn't hear a lot about. Record reviews. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Holy Diver and Saxon. Power and the Glory. I think I have Power and the Glory too. Because we have people every once in a while asking us to make Saxon videos too, and we've never made one. But we do have some Saxon albums in the collection. There's Dio, there's Saxon, The Police, Loverboy, Rod Stewart. Yeah, how cool. Stevie Nicks and Peter Gabriel. Rage. So this is a band, I guess, called Rage, A Matter of Pride. A New Name. What was the old name? I don't know anything about this. If you know anything about Rage, put it down in the comments. Shooting Star. I know about Shooting Star. As a matter of fact, Burning, I think I have that album. They were a cool band, but they just never really took off. And I have 4 or 5, I think they have 5 albums. Is that right? I can't remember for sure. But I think I have all of them. But I don't know, they had some cool stuff. Last Chance was kind of their big anthem. If you've never heard that tune, that's worth listening to. They had a song called Summer Sun that came out. I think that might have been their last album called Silent Scream. I could be wrong about that. I'm sorry if there's Shooting Star fans and they know more about that than I do. But they were cool. Actually, speaking of Heart, I saw them opening up for Heart. There's Y&T right there. Dave Meniketti right there. Yeah, people ask us to do Y&T videos. Maybe this would be a good one to come back and do this article. I'm not sure we have Mean Streak in the collection. I'll have to check that though, because that was one of their biggies. Zebra. They were that first album. I don't know if I bought the second one. I definitely bought the third one. But that first album, like with Who's Behind the Door and Tell Me What You Want, so cool. I love those songs. They were such a cool band. Let's see here. Who else we have? Americade, know nothing about them. Eddie Grant. Kaja Gugu, I remember them. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Dude, he was so great. Man, do you remember when Stevie Ray Vaughan hit? Everybody was talking about him, especially all of us guitar players. Like, what in the heck is going on here? And it was Texas Flood. Man, it was so, I had a friend named Jess that just absolutely went nuts for, it's all he could talk about, it seems like, for a year, was Stevie Ray Vaughan. And yeah, he was really into it. But Stevie, he was great. I mean, Stevie Ray Vaughan was just amazing. So let's see here. So I know we did a video. It was Ted Nugent, obviously. I always liked Ted. It's cool music, cool performer. I saw him in concert. I've only seen him in concert once, but I don't know. I always liked him. He was just kind of an interesting character and just kind of a rocker and a great showman, you know. I used to listen to Double Live Gonzo walking to school, like, for quite, I had that on a lot. And I liked the music, but I really liked his banter in between songs because he's just kind of funny. So I just enjoyed the guy for some reason. Blackmore and Company, Find That Pot of Gold. Yeah, I know we went through this article already. So there's a video on the channel where we talk about this one. And you know, Lynn Turner was just one of those, he was one of those great vocalists from that era. You know, and you have some of these guys that just had these really solid voices. Lou Gramm would be one of them. Jimmy Jamison would be another one. You know, that for some reason they weren't shrill. They didn't have these really high. They were just these controlled, powerful voices. You know, and anyway, and Lynn Turner, I always really liked him. I have all the stuff he did with Rainbow, and then of course his solo album, which was pretty cool. And there is the Def Leppard Centerfold right there. Check that out. Man, this is back. Wow. I mean, look how young these guys were. I would have seen them right around this time. Not long after this, when they saw them opening up for Billy Squier. And I've talked about this on this channel. There's a lot of you that saw them too. And check this out, Mötley Crüe. Yeah, man, this was still early times for Mötley Crüe. And you can, I mean, just look at them. This is the stuff that looks like it came off of some of the video stuff they shot for Too Fast for Love. At least that's what it looks to me. And you remember how Nikki Sixx, I don't know what the deal was, he'd light his pants on fire. I mean, whatever, you know, take a cue from Gene Simmons where he's spitting fire. Oh yeah, I'm going to light my pants on fire. Where does that even come from? I've got an idea. I think Adam Baum on his shows now, I think he lights his guitar, like the back of it, on fire or something. He just puts something on it. I don't know. Don't do this at home, kids. Anyway, that looks dangerous to me. Oh, and by the way, Mick Mars looks like a monster. That was part of the coolness of Mick Mars at the time too. Because you remember when you get Shout at the Devil and you open it up and you look inside and you go, whoa, and he's the one that has most of the flames behind him. And he just looks spooky. But man, did he bring some sort of sound and energy to Mötley Crüe. I tell you, I still think, even though they self-produced the album originally, the song Livewire, how do you beat it? It's like they made the greatest song they were ever going to make on the very first song on the first album, and it's self-produced. I think Kickstart My Heart might be as good, but there's not they had a lot of great tunes. But Livewire, man, how do you beat that? When you hear Mick Mars beginning, because it's all downstrokes and it sounds like a machine. Anyway, so cool. I loved it so much. All right, so here we go. So we have Hit Parader. Looks like you can order a bunch of Hit Parader magazines. 6 issues for $11, 12 issues for $20. Make Gentleman. Enclosed is, that is hilarious. Gentleman? Enclosed is cash money, check money order for a total of, or charge my card. Wow. Ellen Foley. Oh, and by the way, that's Joan Jett. So, interesting. I don't, who's Ellen Foley? This must be something related to Foley and Hit Parader started the game off you. So it looks, I'm feeling really stupid because I don't know who she is. Maybe somebody can put it down in the comments. Probably somebody's going to go, you don't know who that is? Yeah, well, it happens sometimes with me here. Sometimes I'm an idiot. And so it goes. So we have some cool Oh yeah, stacked pickups here from Seymour Duncan. I remember when that started being a thing and people would throw those in their Fenders, where they'd have the single coil slot and they'd put these stacked, I think the idea was that they became humbuckers then. So I used to be able to speak much more intelligently about this stuff than I do now. Amir cymbals, got a bunch of pedals here, distortion, phase, stereo, chorus, some cool Fender amps. That's a London Reverb? Is that what that said? It's hard. Oh yeah, London Reverb. I've never heard of that. T-shirts and posters. Who do we have here? Iron Maiden, Ozzy, Van Halen. I think I had that T-shirt with that thing right there. There's some Black Sabbath. Journey. Let's see here. What do we have down here? More overwhelming demand for our readers. Hip Parade has created Heavy Metal's Bible. Oh, heavy metal, entitled Heavy Metal Rules. I should find this on eBay. That'd be fun to do a video with that one. I don't think I have this. I'm gonna see if I can find that, locate that. Song index. I don't know, Gary, Don't Take Me for a Loser. Gary Moore, don't know that song. Telephone Operator, I don't think I know that one. What else do we have here? An Atlas Body in 7 days. All I know is I want those trunks. Body, Do you remember? Oh man, I remember this we would see this little cartoon. Oh, I remember seeing that cartoon. Wow. High Time, Dennis DeYoung. We did a video on Styx recently, which did pretty well. Led Zeppelin, like you've never seen them. Led Zeppelin portraits. That'd be a cool thing to look up too. Free rock photos, Photo Rock, direct from England. Visit range of, okay, I don't know what that is. Gain weight fast. This is kind of funny. The stuff that they were advertising. And after the fall, there's a little bit of Journey. Let's see, over $8,000 in prizes. Draw Me. You may win one of 1,495 art scholarships. Art Institute schools. That's interesting. Okay, here we go. Sharp Dressed Man. Remember, everybody remembers that song. Take Me to Heart, Quarter Flash. I don't remember that one. Keep Feeling Fascination. Human League. I remember that tune. Every Breath You Take, Course Police. Is there something I should know? Yeah, Duran Duran. Strange that I know that I sing the songs from those bands and not the heavy metal ones. I liked a lot of stuff back then. And of course we'd see it all the time on, MTV and elsewhere. Play guitar, photo ID, your own personal buttons. Look, you can buy 5 and get 1 free. Might have to put in an order for my own personal. Look, more weight gain stuff. Gain up to 5, 10, 15 pounds. Skinny men and women are not attractive. A skinny, scrawny body is no asset in social or business life. Give the Gain plan a firm chance to help you build up and put firm flesh on you. Okay, and then what do we have over here? The Metro by, oh yeah, that's Berlin. Remember that song? That was a cool song. Official touring jackets. We have Van Halen, looks like Rolling Stones, Stray Cats, Judas Priest, Rush, and Sold Out. Whoever Sold Out is, you can buy a jacket that has the word Sold Out on the back. Rock music books at discount prices. Satin pants. This is great. Heavy metal guitar lessons. Master the speed licks and tricks of Van Halen, Rhodes, Page, and more. Rock and roll or visor. Superstar. I don't know what that means. But it's a Pink Floyd visor. New Ameritech Industries, tired of plastic or piles of unorganized tape. So this is like its tape organizer. $21.99, $38.99, and $54.99. That's interesting. I'll tumble for you. Culture Club. Remember Culture Club? Why did we care? What was the deal with Culture Club? I don't know. Interesting. Okay. So we have discover how you can lose 10, 25, 50, even 100 pounds or more with the fastest weight loss. More weight. Now we have weight gain. Now we have weight loss. Super rock shirts and posters. Ozzy, Judas Priest, Journey, Van Halen, Iron Maiden, Rush. Interesting. So here, more songs. Human Touch, Rick Springfield. I remember that song. Who's Behind the Door? Right there, Zebra. We sailed away, walked 1,000 miles, and then we slipped away. Remember that tune? Do you remember that tune? That was a cool tune, man. Who's Behind the Door? And it had kind of they were a Zeppelin cover band because they were a cover band, before they were signed. They did a lot of that stuff. And they'd played a lot of Led Zeppelin stuff. And when it gets toward the end of Who's Behind the Door, you can sense a little bit of a Zeppelin influence in there. Great song. Do You Compute by Donnie Iris. Did he ever have any other hits besides Aaliyah? Which was a great song, by the way. So Best by Mail, Songs and Poems Wanted. Right Cell Publish Your Own Songs, Poem Songs, Color Concert Photos, Poems Wanted, Photo ID, I can get a photo ID here. Poems Needed, Poems Wanted, thousands of oldies, just what you've been looking for. Look at all this stuff. They're asking you to send in poems or songs. Borderless billfold photos. Shane's record finding service, from rock, folk, industrial to essay, easy listening. You can find just about anything ever made. Whoa, that's really interesting. Look at all this stuff. All these things, guitar strings, secrets of a great guitarist. Tune your guitar in 1 minute. Only 12. I don't even know what this, if you know what this is, I'm looking at it and I can't even tell what I'm looking at. It looks like maybe it's a tuner that mounts to your guitar. I don't know. Learn songwriting, rock and roll, new wave, heavy metal, ID cards. Too skinny? A new shape in 30 days or pay nothing. Get rid of blackheads, whiteheads. Yep, that was what. We were teenagers, we were scrawny, we had acne, and they knew it. Ugly blackheads out in seconds. A singer's dream, and a lot of us wanted to be rock stars too. Successful songwriters, record conventions. That would be cool. Is there a record convention that exists? We should know about that, shouldn't we, ladies and gentlemen? Probably people right now are going, dude, don't you know that there's well, for whatever reason, I don't. All right, here we go. The Rock Bookshelf, Led Zeppelin in the Beginning. There are a number of books out that trace the group's legendary career. Yeah, that's the truth. I think I have a couple of them. Hit Parader rock poll. Win free. List your top 3 rock acts and mail this coupon to Hit Parader. Huh. And then they have Robert Plant and Loverboy. I guess you what? You just check one? I don't know. Okay. Oh, it's which one you want to win. I get it. Ian Hunter, guy from a little Mott the Hoople here. Legendary rocker. I remember when all the good ones are taken came out. Here's a little Mick Jagger. Yeah, he was just always kind of a thing. Women often have trouble relating to me. Interesting, Mick. All right. Dave Edmunds, a true original. There he is with Brian Setzer. Brian Setzer was pretty, I don't know, seemed like a cool guy. I was never into the Stray Cats music. It was okay, but I did respect him though. He was just that hollow body, the sound, the rockabilly sound. It's pretty cool. Reverend Horton Heat is a little more my style when it comes to that kind of music, but anyway, he's kind of a legend though. And check this out. I believe I have several of these. I'm sure I have several of these. I have way too many Hit Parader and Circus magazines around these parts. So as you if you follow this channel, you are probably aware. And here's Heart. Little Ann Wilson, little Nancy Wilson. I guess, so what Passion Works would have been the most recent one. There they mentioned Private Audition. There's Private Audition again. If you've never heard, I have Private Audition in the collection. I don't think the album's that great. There's a couple of cool tunes on it, but the song City's Burnin', I've brought this up 100 times on this channel. If you've never heard the song City's Burnin' by Heart, do yourself a favor. Go listen to that song. The rest of Private Audition, like I said, I don't know that I loved it. Maybe I should give it another listen. Somebody's going to tell me to. But the song City's Burnin' is just amazing. Brian Ferry from Roxy Music. This is kind of interesting. And over here, a little Steve Perry. Journey Steve Perry, we're going to stay here all night. Matt Dillon and Rumblefish. Nicolas Cage was in that? I don't even remember that. Dennis Hopper was on. Wow, I don't even remember. Because wasn't this the movie? This was the third one in the series. You had The Outsiders, you had That Was Then, This Is Now, you had Rumblefish, and you had Tex. I think there were just those 4 things that Essie Hinton put, and then all of us read those. And I think this is the one where they made the movie, the movie was in black and white, but they had these fish that were in color. Do you remember that? And then here we come to the end. We're going to open up the package now. California Series, Fender acoustics. I have a Fender acoustic right there hanging on the wall. I love my Fender acoustic guitar. So, all right, have you figured out what's in the package yet? Let's bust that thing out. This came out September 4th of 1990. This is this band's biggest album they ever made. This is their fourth full-length studio album. That's an important piece of information. Sold about 3 million copies. People refer to them kind of as progressive metal. There was a song on here that became wildly famous, got nominated for a Grammy, and it is a 5-piece band. And we've made many videos about them on this channel. So if you follow the channel, that's another giveaway. And those are supposed to, there we go. That's a little better. There we go. All right, I'm so excited to own this because I had this on CD back in the day. I'd kind of started migrating over to CDs back then. So any guesses what this is? Here we go. Let's check this out. Oh, there it is. Queensrÿche Empire. And this, of course, is a new pressing. But how they did that pixelated Tri-Reich thing. This is so cool to kind of have this now. And just, I mean, they were such a great band. They had so many great tunes. And just, do you remember around this time when they were on MTV and just these songs, like Best I Can, you would see that song all the time on MTV. Jet City Woman, another one that was on MTV all the time. Empire was on MTV all the time. Silent Lucidity, same thing. And these other tunes are great. Like anybody listening, I mean, it was actually a really, really excellent album. Now, you know, as we've talked about Queensrÿche on this channel, Rage for Order to me is still the one that kind of just, if I have to pick one, which I don't usually like talking about things like that, but if I have to pick one where I go, that's really my one where I go, that's really what they're all about. That was it. I loved that's the best one in my opinion. But man, I just looking at this and thinking about these songs right now, it was just such a great record. And I saw, you know, Queensrÿche, the current version of them, last summer in down in Las Vegas, and it was cool. I don't know, I enjoyed it. Of course, there's only a couple guys in the band anymore that were from this, but I saw them on this tour. Gary and I, and it was Warrior Soul was the band that opened up. Is that centered? Yeah, Warrior Soul was the band. I think it was Warrior Soul. And I bought their album Drugs, God, and the New Republic after seeing them opening up for Queensrÿche, and it was pretty killer. They have some really good stuff. They do a cover of the song Inner Zone, which is amazing. So if you've never heard Warrior Soul, Drugs, God, and the New Republic, there's some really good stuff on there. But of course, this Queensrÿche, this was such an awesome, and this kind of was the peak for them. I saw them on the following tour, Promised Land, and I'll be honest with you, they were great. But you could feel it shrinking, if you know what I mean. You know, when they toured on this, you would see them in a full-on arena. I mean, the arena I saw them in, I think we saw them in Salt Lake City in the Salt Palace. And, you know, it holds like 18,000 people or whatever at the time. Was that right, or was it still the Salt Palace? I don't remember what it was back then. Anyway, but they were great. They were great. And so this music it really, I don't know, it was so amazing. There was so much great stuff. So we're gonna be doing some videos about this in the near future. As you know, I'm a big fan of this band. So anyway, if there was anything in here that you saw in this magazine or anything in particular you'd like to give some feedback about, leave your comments down below. Let us know if there's anything in here you'd like us to do some videos on. We're kind of going to be experimenting with some new types of videos and different things we want to talk about on this channel. And we're, you know, so we'd love to get your feedback on anything that we're doing so that we can kind of enjoy all this stuff together. You know, going back and re-experiencing all this amazing stuff, all this incredible music. We lived in an amazing time. And just things like this, having not just the great music, but all of the experiences around it. You know, I've talked many times on this channel about just going to a record store, you know, and buying something like this, just the whole experience of it. Where we had back then, we had a different relationship with music. I think there's a lot of great music that's made today. I really do. There's a lot of stuff I love. But the experience is different. And we've lost something in the experience when you don't have all of your other senses. Because this Queensrÿche album, the listening to the album would have just been a piece of the experience. The experience would have started several hours earlier, getting in a car and heading to a record store. And it may have started, and maybe hours before that, getting your paycheck, from work. And then going and getting some money, and then going to the record store and talking to people and deciding what you're going to get and going back home. It was so much more immersive. And today, a new song comes out, somebody texts it to you, and you have your headphone and you just listen to it. And again, I love the convenience of it, and I'm not knocking it, but we miss something pretty cool about these extra things that made this a full-on, that it was more than just the music. There was this whole experience. And then the artwork. Like this one, I think, opens up, and you'd have, the inner sleeve and the liner notes and the pictures and all the stuff that just, and it was, and you couldn't, and whatever was in the record, that was it. It wasn't like you get online and look for more pictures and concert footage. I mean, it's just, you know what I'm talking about. We lose something like that. I would love to get your feedback on other things we should be talking about. And when we do a record about this video, when we do a video about this record, down in the notes, what would you talk about if you were making a video about this record? What story would you tell? What song would you talk about? What trivia, what information, background stuff would you include if you were making that video? Hey, thanks for taking the time to visit with me today. Please leave your comments down below. Like the video. We always appreciate that. And of course, we want to thank Digitech for their ongoing support of the channel. Go to digitech.com and check out all the latest cool gear and technology they have there, and let them know that we sent you there. And with that, have yourself a fantastic day.